Rounded rectangles are used for UI designs. They're literally everywhere. Well, what would you do if you were to draw a rounded rectangle? In Figma, we can pull this little circle right here. In CSS, we can use the border radius property. In Godot, we can change the corner radius here. Pretty easy, right? But what about OpenGL? What is OpenGL anyways? According to Wikipedia, it's a cross-language, cross-platform, whatever this is. So why specifically OpenGL? Isn't there a lot of easier options to choose from? Well, it's for a Minecraft mod, so I have to use the lightweight Java game library's OpenGL bindings. So why draw a rounded rectangle then? I'm making a config menu for the mod, so mods like SkyTills use the essential GG/Fictions library, and it's easy to use. So I want to make my own menu because it looks cool. So I decided to start by designing the menu. I only use rectangles, so it was simple to draw them. Then I realized something was off. There was no rounded corners. I wanted rounded corners because a lot of GUI applications have them. See, Godot 3 doesn't have rounded corners, but Godot 4 does. So I decided to implement rounded rectangles. First thing that came to mind was to just draw the rounded rectangle with vertices. I wanted to make the rounded rect as a category that hugs the options below. But this has a problem. The inner corners don't get rounded, making it look like it's out of place. So I googled for a bit and found out that I could use a shader, so I did. I wanted this result, and to achieve this I had to draw a rounded rect with a hole which is slightly moved downwards. To do this, in a fragment shader I used a sign distance field to round the corners of the rectangle. There's a problem though. Drawing it with shaders or vertices doesn't matter. We have this weird look. If we see this jagged edge once, we can't unsee it. But how do we fix it? SDFs that I use for rounding corners are used for these too. I'm not going to get into the details, but there's a fantastic video and article by
Inigo Quiles
that covers about SDFs. So we can use SDFs and smooth them magic to fix this. We can control the softness of the edge. If it is 0, it will be aliased because there will be no smoothing. If we set it too high, it will start to blur. Though there's still a problem. If we zoom in closely enough, even if this edge is straight and doesn't need smoothing, it's smooth. If I cut the smoothing on edges that doesn't need to be smooth, it looks weird. After realizing this fact, I couldn't unsee it again, so I decided to go back to using vertices to render. Though even if I use vertices, I would still have the aliasing problem. Turns out there is GL polygon smooth, and apparently this is supposed to anti-alias what we draw. Let's try it. Well, there are these weird lines. I googled this issue but nothing helped. Some people suspect the driver and or GPU, so I had no luck fixing this. Instead, let's try rendering the rounded rectangle to a multi-sampled frame buffer object. Then we'll resolve it to Minecraft's frame buffer. And if this is successful, our rectangle should be anti-aliased. It sounds like it'll work, and it should work, but easier said than done. I had trouble trying to make a multi-sampled FBL, but kept printing out errors, so I gave up after a few hours of trying. I believe that something is going on inside Minecraft's OpenGL code that breaks my code, but I really don't know. So I failed trying a lot of methods. I was getting sick of this, so I thought of a really bad way that works. I used the previous shader with no edge smoothing so that it's an aliased rounded rectangle. Then I drew lines above them to hide the jagged edges. It turns out that we can anti-alias the lines with GL line smooth. And with it, there were no visual bugs unlike GL polygon smooth. This worked like a charm. Even though this is a weird way of fixing the issue, I'll just go with it. I did a bit of tinkering with the colors to make it look better. I applied a fragment shader to make it change its color. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.